It's May of 1986. A cloud hangs over Chernobyl as Americans hold hands in an attempt to fight world hunger. Spoiler alert, it doesn't work. Meanwhile, Michael and I, we're entering the danger zone. Welcome to the Screen Hoppers. I'm Ian, your Screen Hoppers host, and I have the rare privilege of making the same joke that every other podcaster has ever made when covering Top Gun. I'm here with my goose, Michael.
Good morning, Ian.
Good morning, Michael.
You really threw me with the Chernobyl reference.
Like, it happened literally in April, right before Top Gun.
Oh, yeah, the cloud was still there.
Oh, it was floating over Europe, and everybody was terrified, but we were so excited just to see Tom Cruise play some volleyball in his denim.
He did play volleyball. That scene, the most iconic from that movie.
Potentially, only because it's like the whole movie is such a vibe. I can't wait to get into it with you because I don't know that it's even quite a movie after rewatching it.
I agree. I can't wait to talk about this because that was my takeaway too. Was like, this is just like a series of weird vignettes.
Barely a plot there. Anyway, so I'm Ian. Who are you again?
I'm Michael. I am the Screen Hoppers co-host. I am a film critic and connoisseur and fan, most of all. This is a podcast where we love movies and we love talking about movies.
And sometimes we make love to movies.
Do we?
Oh, I guess that's just me.
That's logistically interesting.
At any rate, I'm really excited. It's a new year, and this is season 2 of the Screen Hoppers.
We made it to season 2.
We did. I know.
And you have put some work into really bringing up the quality of this thing for season 2.
I thought I would do a little investment over the holidays. You know, I really thought about if our podcast had some New Year's resolutions, you know, I thought maybe it could lose a little weight.
Oh, it definitely did. This studio
eat better,
been streamlined. It's sleek and svelte.
I know.
I have so much room.
You can just swing your arms around all you want.
This is wild.
And what's really great is I can see you. There isn't a bunch of stuff
there's not
between
stuff
us.
Like literally.
Like blocking our view, so we feel like we're talking to ourselves. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really great season. We have some cool things lined up. Obviously, we're going to keep attempting to see the top 100 grossing movies of the last 50 years. I think some movies got knocked off the list, though. Feels like Zootopia 2
at least moved.
Is officially, yeah, it's going to kick one off. Avatar has the potential to still kick one off as well.
Yeah.
And
Zootopia 2 is now the highest grossing animated movie of all time in hard like real dollars.
Yeah,
not inflation.
Well, did it beat Niza 2?
I don't know because we're working off the domestic list.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay. Well, at any rate, loving being here in season 2 with you. Super excited to jump into this year. Did you make any, we talked about kind of movie resolutions. Did you make any pod resolutions for this year?
Pod resolutions. So we've talked a little bit about not changing up the format, but sort of respecting the important parts of the format a little bit more. And so I am looking forward to having a little more fun with our movie selections. Looking forward to having a little bit of breathing room to do some research about the movies that we talk about.
Yeah.
Especially this week, right? I think one of the more interesting things about the movie that I picked is sort of the backstory. And so I think integrating some of that into our conversations will be a lot of fun.
I'm also really excited because we're going to start announcing our movies at the end of each episode. And so you all will know how to prep with us if you want to watch the movies along and then listen to the episodes.
Yes.
Because we're going to be ahead of that rather than behind it with some kind of Instagram poll. And that'll be a lot better, I think.
Yeah, because we already don't respect spoilers. So setting it up so that hopefully all of you have seen these movies and can go along with us and agree or disagree, yell at us about our thoughts and opinions.
Well, apart from that, you just got back from Vegas. How was that?
I love Vegas.
Yeah,
generally.
Because you're wrong.
Okay, fine.
You're dead wrong. But continue.
I say that I like Vegas for the same reason that I like bad horror movies. Like, there's just a schlockiness to it that I find charming. It's unapologetic about what it is, and you either have to embrace the Vegas or or you're not going to enjoy the Vegas.
Yeah, I think it needs to apologize for what it is. But you went and saw Wizard of Oz at Sphere. How was that?
I did. So the Sphere is
Is
an
it
awesome
the Sphere
venue.
or is it Sphere? I thought it was
I think it's just
like
Sphere,
I thought
Las
it was like
Vegas.
Torah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's not the Torah. This is the name.
It's
Sphere.
but it is a Sphere.
It's a sphere named Sphere.
Really, really cool venue. When you get inside, it's really nice. Like it's just like it's very nice.
For $2 billion,
I would hope so.
One would hope that it would be at least nice.
And then just technologically, it is really impressive. The Wizard of Oz, for anyone who doesn't know, they did a remaster. They used some AI, which I'll talk about here in a sec. But the screen that they have, like, it looks great, and it really does bring you in. And when it first comes on and you're watching things on that screen for the first time, like there is that moment where you're just like, holy crap, like this is unlike anything I've seen before. I really liked the Sphere. I liked Sphere. Just being in that environment was really, really cool. And then I got to watch my favorite movie. So
you recommend this experience? I know it was a pretty penny. People often complain about how much it is to go to the movies these days.
Spend way too much money for a movie ticket.
This is like over $100 for a movie ticket.
It was like $125, yeah.
Oh my
which
God,
is
yeah.
Crazy. And
when we went, I asked my son if he wanted to go see Wizard of Oz at Sphere, and he saw the price, and he wasn't even paying for it, and he was like, no.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing more offensive than the ticket price was what I paid for a cocktail.
Dare I ask?
So 2 drinks and a not very large popcorn was like $70.
Was it like at least like a Long Island with a lot of liquor in it?
It was not a weak drink.
Okay.
It was themed. It was emerald in color.
Oh. Was it like sour apple flavored or?
It had some apple. Yeah.
All right.
It was a good drink. It was not, $30 good, but it was good. And then watching the movie and what they did with the movie was a really interesting experience. I would say don't go to Sphere to see The Wizard of Oz if you have never seen The Wizard of Oz. I mean, you've had nearly 100 years to pull this off, so I would hope you've.
You're saying like you should not see it at Sphere if you've never seen it before?
Yeah.
Like this isn't the way to experience it for the first time?
No, not the way to experience for the first time. They cut like 10, 15 minutes out of it.
Wait, they charged $120 for a ticket and then they cut 10 or 15 minutes out of the movie?
And so there is a little bit of like,
if ever a theater were set up by
weirdness.
Billionaire investors, that's it.
And then the only other kind of complaint I guess I have is they used AI to redo basically all of the backgrounds and sets. They're all like very much cleaned up. So there's no like oil painting backgrounds anymore. They're all like rendered and dynamic. So there's movement happening in the background, which is cool. But you do get a little bit of like where the characters are layered on top of that. And so
it takes you out of the experience.
It takes you out of it a little bit.
That seems really disrespectful to like the production design team that worked on all of those paintings.
I mean, one of the things I love about The Wizard of Oz is that it's very much a product of 1939, right? I like those oil paintings. I like that you can see some of the rough edges on the sets. You can tell what's real and not real. There's a charm to it that I think gets lost a little bit in this experience, which is why as an immersive experience, it's really, really great. But as a movie-going experience, maybe a little less so.
It sounds like a very Vegas experience.
Yeah.
If Vegas got his hands on America's childhood and then
they Vegased it up.
Did what Vegas would do if it had its hands on a child.
Kinda.
All right. Well, I don't know if I'm going to check it out, but I'm glad you did. Nice to hear the review coming back. So we are in the weekend of May of 1986. Michael, we have chosen our movies, but what is on the marquee this weekend?
All right. So our headliner is, as you alluded to, Top Gun. And there's a ton playing. Short Circuit, Sweet Liberty. The winner of Best Title for the weekend is JoJo Dancer, Your Life is Calling.
I saw that on the marquee, and I was like, I have no idea what that is.
No clue, but I want to know who JoJo Dancer is and why his or her life is calling. The Money Pit, Police Academy 3, And then a couple of movies that have been in theaters for a little while but still going pretty strong are Pretty in Pink and Hannah and Her Sisters.
Those are the two movies
And those
that
are the
we
two that we
chose.
chose.
So Hannah and Her Sisters had legs. It really did. It started off as just a small indie Woody Allen movie, as most of them do, but it ended up being his top grossing film, which that record wasn't broken until Midnight in Paris. Yeah. Which is the one we talked about recently. And so that is the movie that I chose for us to go see prior to hopping into Top Gun. And then you chose.
And I chose Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
Which also was a hit. I mean, that movie made money. It was, I think, like the low 20s for the year.
Yeah.
In terms of like, where it landed in the box office. Also had legs. This was its 12th week in theaters and was still selling tickets.
Yeah, it's cool to see movies that had legs back then. Right now, The Housemaid has had legs, actually. It's been slowly creeping up. It just crossed 300 million, and that happens so rarely now. But tell me, why did you choose Pretty in Pink?
Because you chose Hannah and Her Sisters.
What you would have? Did I swoop your movie?
Kinda.
Okay.
If you didn't, I would have, because I want to see more Woody Allen movies.
Okay. Well, I know that his movie last year, Love and Death, made both of our top 5 lists.
It did. And that was kind of one of the reasons why I was like, yeah, if you don't pick this, I'm going to pick it, just because it's one that I want to check off my list. I want to consume, Woody Allen, as much Woody Allen as possible. And sort of the same reason for Pretty in Pink. It was a John Hughes movie that I hadn't seen. And it has a place in the culture. Like it's considered, I think, a classic by at least some people.
I think most of his 80s movies are relatively loved to beloved, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, I mean, it gets, you'll watch TV shows and movies that will make references and homages to it. And so it was one that, again, it felt like it was a movie that I should have seen and hadn't seen. And so I chose Pretty in Pink.
All right. Well, I chose Hannah and Her Sisters because I, too, had not seen it. And it's one of those movies that was also revered among Woody Allen movies. And I've seen a lot of Woody Allen movies.
One of the most revered of Woody Allen movies.
I mean, it won a lot of awards. I'd say it's like right there behind Annie Hall. And I'll be honest, I actually skipped a lot of his 80s movies because I just had a soft spot in my heart for Diane Keaton. I watched all of his work with Diane Keaton when he started using Mia Farrow and his kind of 80s cast.
Yeah, both of his wives were in this movie.
That's well, I don't think he and Mia were ever married officially. I think they were just like partnership for 12 years. But yes, they are both in this movie, and we will not talk about that because it's
not fun.
Yeah, it's not that much fun to talk about. We all know the story. At any rate, though, but yeah, it was just, I'd always heard that it was good. I really struggled with the idea of like kind of replacing Diane Keaton with a Mia Farrow. I don't know why. It's nothing against her. It's
nothing against Mia Farrow.
I'm in love with
Diane Keaton's irreplaceable.
Yeah. And seeing Michael Caine not be cool just kind of gave me the ick too, where I was like, I don't know that I want to see him.
It was,
I just didn't know that's something I wanted.
Yeah. My wife and I watched this together, and we both had this boat where it's like, I don't love watching this version of Michael Caine. That is not the Michael Caine that I know and love.
It's always interesting when an actor takes on a Woody Allen and how well they can sort of embody those characters. I love John Cusack in Bullets Over Broadway. He is doing a superb Woody Allen. He nails it. The Michael Caine, I mean, he wins an Oscar for this role, so he's
not bad in it. It's just, if you're familiar with Michael Caine, there's a discomfort there.
There is a bit of one, and so anyway, those are all the reasons I avoided it. So I decided it was a big gap in sort of my cinema knowledge, and I was like, okay, we're gonna hit Hannah and Her Sisters. So that was my reason for choosing this. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a break.
We're gonna take a break.
And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the weekend. We're going to dive into our movies. We'll play some clips. We'll chat about them. You'll take us through Pretty in Pink. I'll take us through Hannah and Her Sisters. It'll be great. We will be back shortly with more of the Screen Hoppers. Welcome back to the Screen Hoppers. We are in May of 1986, and Michael is going to kick us off by leading a little discussion on Pretty in Pink. Michael, I think you'd be pretty in pink.
I actually kind of like pink.
Okay.
As a color. I own some pink. Should have worn it. So Pretty in Pink is John Hughes and Molly Ringwald's third and final collaboration. They had just wrapped their second, which was, I believe, um 16 Candles. Or no, 16 Candles was first.
I always forget how this goes
Yeah.
because I know that one of them was greenlit before the other one, but the other one was made before the other one.
Right. But
And
I
I forget the
believe
order.
16 Candles actually came out first, and then The Breakfast Club, and then John Hughes had this habit of sort of he would get melancholy as he would wrap movies, and he would sort of miss the process and the people he was working with, so he'd dive right into writing the next movie. And he knew that Molly Ringwald really liked the Psychedelic Furs song "Pretty in Pink," and that was sort of his jumping off point. Is he liked the title,
Was
and
just knowing that she liked that
yeah,
song.
and so he wrote this movie with Molly Ringwald in mind. Um, Sort of loose plot summary. It's a sort of love triangle. You have Molly Ringwald's character, Andy, who is best friends with John Cryer's Duckie, who's this sort of eccentric, kind of nerdy guy, has a charm of his own. Duckie's very much in love with Andy. Andy is not in love with Duckie. Uh, and her affections land
Blane.
on Blane. Yeah, Blane is such a such a good name for this character and his place in the movie, played by Andrew McCarthy, who is kind of one of the rich kids in their rich kid school. Molly Ringwald's character Andy and Duckie are kind of from the other side of the tracks. They are not as well off. They don't quite fit into the environment.
The movie literally opens on tracks
Mhm.
and like moving to the side of them where houses don't look as nice and cars are dented up.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so
it's not subtle.
this movie, for as much of a plot as it has, is really just about them navigating high school, navigating the cliques of high school, not fitting in, and trying to find that high school love, and whether or not those cliques are incompatible with that.
So you were telling me, and I had seen it as well, this movie famously had reshoots because test
It did,
audiences
yeah.
did not like seeing her wind up with Duckie, which, by the way, I actually think John Cryer is really good in this movie.
I do too, and this is
I have
actually
so much fun with John Cryer.
I think the best thing to talk about with this movie is the movie originally ends with her being stood up at prom by Blane and ending up with Duckie.
Yeah.
And they did a test screening of a rough cut, and the audience hated that.
Yeah.
The audience booed, like literally booed.
Yeah, like
when they
loud
end up
boos,
together. And so they went back, rewrote the ending, reshot the ending. There's some interesting anecdotes there too. To have her
Andrew
end
McCarthy
up
had
with
shaved
Andrew
his
McCarthy.
head for a role.
And lost weight
Yeah.
for that role, and so he had to wear a wig.
Which is like not the right color.
They had to rent the ballroom again. They had the studio didn't give them very much money to do the reshoot, so they had to shoot the whole ending again in one day, to have her end up with Blane. And originally there was a song that played that sort of fit the theme of her ending up with Duckie. And so they had to go back to the band Orchestra Maneuvers in the Dark. And
I dig that name.
yeah, and
Orchestra Maneuvers in the Dark.
yeah, and they spell maneuvers like the British way, so there's extra vowels.
Perfect.
And so they had to rewrite. So they wrote the song "If You Leave" in just a couple days, so that they could have a new song for this new ending.
Because the other song just didn't match.
Yeah, it just didn't match it. And
it's funny that they think audiences listen to the lyrics of songs.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's in the song.
Exactly, because actually the Psychedelic Furs, who wrote the song "Pretty in Pink,"
They had to re-record it for this as well.
They re-recorded it. They
Dark.
made it a little poppier.
Yeah.
And they had a mixed reaction to the success that song had coming out of this movie, because the movie was a hit. It made $60 million against less than a $10 million budget. And they were like, yeah, I mean, we appreciate that we became popular in America. The song had this new resurgence. It charted again. But everyone who liked this song because of the movie are very much missing the point of the song, because the lyrics of the song are not happy and hopeful.
But that is most pop songs. I mean, 99 Red Balloons is my favorite example of this. But you listen to the lyrics of 99% of pop songs, and they do not match the vibe of the song.
Yeah. And then If You Leave became a huge hit. The soundtrack of this movie was actually a bigger hit than the movie itself.
Yeah, I was reading about that. Like that became the cultural phenomenon more than the actual movie.
Yeah, I think Rolling Stone ranks it like the 11th greatest soundtrack of all time.
It's a dope soundtrack.
It's a really great soundtrack.
I was really enjoying the soundtrack.
And as I was watching the movie, that was one of the things I liked too, is it was just hit after hit of like just great 80s songs, and kind of set the vibe and the setting of the movie. But what I think is interesting about them having to reshoot that ending is the whole movie felt to me like it was building up to Andy and Duckie ending up together.
Interesting.
Like their relationship is very much central to this. Duckie very much thinks that the incompatibility of class between like where they go to school and Blane specifically and where they're from and their backgrounds mean that it'll never work, and that Duckie and Andy should be the ones together because they understand each other in a way that he believes can never be understood by the outside.
So you're Team Duckie.
I'm Team Duckie.
You're Team Duckie. Okay.
And so that's where, I disagree with that test audience. I think that the movie would have been better had she either ended up with Duckie or didn't end up with anyone at all.
Okay. So that's an important point. So as I was watching this movie, and if I've seen it before, which I think I have, it's been long enough that I could not remember anything about it other than like Duckie's costume, which I may just remember from like photographs because he is like new wave nerdy. Yeah. In a way that is actually kind of magnificent.
I love it.
Every male character in this movie is a piece of shit.
Yeah, they suck.
Yeah, they all suck, and Andy is better than all of them. Yeah. And she shouldn't be with Duckie or Blane or any of them. I wanted to see her with Iona.
Yeah. Well,
that's the actual ending that I'm going for. Or she should have hit it and quit it with James Spader.
James Spader.
With James Spader.
Who wouldn't?
Oh my God, he's like so miscast. He should have been the Blane character, because then at least I would have been like, I understand why she's attracted to them, because he is a smoke show. In this movie.
But Molly Ringwald chose Andrew McCarthy.
I just want to run my fingers through him.
Because Molly Ringwald pushed for Andrew McCarthy to be cast as Blane because she thought he was cute and was like, well, if I'm attracted to him, then Andy will be attracted to him.
But then at the end of the movie, she acknowledged she had a crush on frickin' Spader.
Yeah.
She said she was intimidated by him because he was a jerk the whole time in character, but he did such a good job in the character that at the end, she's like, yeah, I kind of had a crush on him. Like, of course you kind of had a crush on him?
Who doesn't? Yeah. So she could have ended up with James Spader, or she could have ended up alone.
I think alone makes more sense. Her father is a worthless sack of shit.
Duckie's a mess.
Duckie is an abusive, toxic male beyond belief. Blane is a coward.
But I actually think
a wimp. Like, that Andy's the only character.
She should have ended up with nobody. Right?
Yeah. And again, that's why I say Iona. Like, she should have gone and hung out with Iona, and they should have just hung out. And by the way, that yuppie turd that she winds up with him a little bit annoyed with too. Like, she's too good for him.
Right. I didn't want them to end up together because I didn't think he deserved her. I think that of course, because it's kind of a romantic comedy, like you have that conflict, right? Where jerk guy does jerk thing. They sort of separate, that end up back together. But I think that the jerk thing should have been a deal breaker. Like when he chose his rich friends who didn't approve of her over her, that should have been it.
He showed that he was a coward. He showed that he would never be able to actually commit to her. I mean, it's a ridiculous ending. Now, having said that, I actually really liked this movie.
Did you? Okay,
I did.
So let's go ahead.
I had fun with the movie. I really did. Rosie hated it. I watched it with her, and she was not into it.
Duckie sort of makes the case. Go ahead and we'll play this of why she should be with him and not Blane.
Is this you're gonna go out with this guy? I mean, is this like a date or?
Yeah, I mean, you'll like him. He's not like the other guys. Seriously.
No, what? Man, you really pissed me off, because they shit all over everybody, including you. I can't believe you'd be this stupid.
Who's shitting on me? I'm not gonna let anybody shit on me.
He's gonna use your ass and throw you away. God, I would have died for you.
So what am I supposed to do? He asked me out and I like him. If I hate him because he's got money, just listen to me. I hate him because he's got money. That's the exact same thing as them hating us because we don't. Do you understand?
You can't do this and respect yourself. You can't.
Well, I'll make that decision, all right?
Sure, you can do what you want.
You know you're talking like that just because I'm going out with Blane.
Blane? His name is Blane? Oh, that's a major appliance. That's not a name.
Just because I'm going out with Blane doesn't mean I can
Coming
be friends
from
with you.
Duckie.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change the way I feel about you.
Oh, that's very nice. I'm glad. Here's the point, Annie. I'm not particularly concerned with whether or not you like me. Because I live to like you, and I can't like you anymore. So when you get your heart splattered all over hell and you're feeling really low and dirty, don't look to me to help pump you back up, because maybe for the first time in your life I won't be there.
Can't believe you're actually saying this.
Well, I guess that's just tough.
I think they're both right in their own way. I think that Duckie's assessment of Blane is kind of spot on and gets proven in a lot of ways as we go on. That
Does Blane throw her away? That's not really what happens. Blane feels ashamed. He's not using her.
he succumbs to the pressure from his friends.
He does,
Right,
but
and-
I think Duckie's read on Blane is that he believes Blane is like Spader's character, whose name is eluding me now because he's just Spader.
He is just Spader.
But Blaine's not. Blane is more cowardly than that. He doesn't want to use her and throw her away because that's what Spader wants to do with her. Is he wants to hit it and quit it, and like I said, she should turn the tables on him. But Blane has a crush on her. Blane likes her, but Blane just can't stand up for her. He's too mealy mouthed. He's too.
He's soft.
He's soft. He is.
Yeah.
He's a very spineless character.
And then Andy is right in that it's really not up to Duckie.
Well, no,
Right?
Duckie's being
Like,
toxic
Duckie's
as
being toxic.
fuck in this moment. I won't be your friend if you get hurt by your boyfriends. I'm only your friend under the conditions in which I can at least dream of a world where I can be with you.
There's a scene in the movie, and it was almost the clip that I chose, but it's a really long scene where Andy ends up in the principal's office, and the principal says to her, like, if you put out signals that you don't want to belong, people are going to make sure that you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And the discourse around this movie, people really hate that the principal said that. They say it's very cynical, that he, is telling her that she needs to conform. And that's a read. I think you can definitely criticize that. I also think it's kind of correct. I don't think it is or should be a motivation for her to change. I think she should embrace that. Like, if she wants to,
She should just be aware of it.
if
more.
she wants to be aware of it, if she wants to be this outsider, if she wants to be her own person, commit to that, do that, and then end up alone at the end of the movie.
Well, and I think that's a good point. Like, and I don't think that's funny that people have a problem with their principal saying that because you ever get good advice from your principal?
I didn't.
Well, that's the thing. Is sometimes with movies, people assume that because somebody says something that it's supposed to be taken seriously, and because it's from a position of authority. But like a principal giving you advice on how to navigate your social life, you can pretty much assume that is probably not. It's probably not just not the best advice, and there are exceptions. I'm sure there's some really wonderful principals out there. My apologies to all of those cool principals right now sitting backwards in their chairs, just rapping with their students. But for most of them, if you're getting advice on how to navigate your social life between rich kids and poor kids, it's probably not good advice. And so I think as watchers of the movie, we should be taking it in that way.
Everything Andy does, whether it's the way that she dresses, the way that she behaves, the way she puts herself out there, says, I don't care about what people think of me.
I mean, that
I'm
dress
gonna
that she makes
be
at the
me.
end is hideous.
It's awful.
It's
an awful dress. She is not pretty in pink.
Annie Potts' beautiful dress that she gives her and turns it into a rag.
Yeah, it's an awful dress. Fun little piece of trivia about that dress. It's the only piece of the wardrobe that Molly Ringwald didn't keep.
So she agreed. I actually like the way Andy dresses for most of the movie. And then she shows up in that dress and I'm like, why did she wreck that garment?
But why?
Yeah, what was that?
And so I do. I think the movie very much sets up for her to be this outsider. I think if she's going to end up with someone, her sort of weirdo friend, Duckie, makes more sense than like the preppy Blane. But it seems to want to celebrate her individuality and then undermines it at the very end.
It does lose its way at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, movies always have a hard time with endings.
They do.
And that's a common thing, and especially when you run things by test audiences, you can't let an audience determine how your film ends. I understand why they do this. It's a product. They need to sell it. They need people to come see it.
Yeah.
But it is still a story. It's still a work of art. And to allow your audience to determine how the movie ends. And here's the thing. Her ending with Duckie, and I actually like her ending up with Duckie in the end more. I'm coming around to your side, not because I think it's the right move for her, but because it's kind of the more believable thing that would
seems
happen.
truer
Like,
to the characters and the setup.
yeah, like he'll still fuck her life up and they'll break up in 3 months and she'll be miserable and they'll never talk to each other again. But that was actually one of the reasons I liked this movie. I generally do not care for high school movies. I really struggle with them. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I can't hang with that movie at all. I know people love it. People adore it.
I'm not a huge fan. Fast Times has the same problem this movie has. Same problem Hannah and her sisters has, which is these are comedies that aren't funny.
I think Hannah and her sisters, we'll get into it, but I think there are some moments that are very funny in Hannah and her sisters. And I think there's some moments in Pretty in Pink that are very funny. But what I was going to say, and as a compliment to Pretty in Pink, is it does feel reminiscent, at least to me, of being in high school. Like, this actually felt a bit like it.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when I was in high school, I was wrong side of the tracks. I did not have very much money. And I remember the rich kid uniform was Abercrombie and Fitch, popped collars, and Doc Marten boots. And I remember there were like 10 or 12 kids that dressed like that. And you knew that they were the rich kids in the school. And the rest of us were trying to figure out what to do. But we also kind of wanted them to like us because wealth is attractive and there's all these things. And there is a feeling about that. And then just hanging around in a record store after school, that is a thing that I did. I don't know. This movie actually resonated for me in a way that I didn't really expect it to.
Yeah.
As a high school movie.
I went to like a private prep school for high school.
That's where a lot of the rich kids went when I went to school, but a few of them hung back.
But I was the financial aid kid at my private school, right? And so I was surrounded by a ton of money. Didn't have a ton myself. I mean, we were fine. We were very like middle class. My parents, worked really hard to give me a great childhood. But my high school experience wasn't like this, right? Like, I actually, despite being the financial aid kid at the prep school where all the really, really rich people went, didn't feel like an outsider. Like, we got along interspersed pretty well.
Keep talking. I'm going to fill up my tea.
And so for me, and this is a problem that I have with a lot of high school movies, and there's a part of me that respects that the movie respects it. But it feels like the stakes are not actually very high, but are treated like they're very high.
But isn't that high school?
But that is high school. Yeah.
I was going to say that's actually what I really like with the movie.
Like, I do like that the movie doesn't condescend to its characters. It doesn't dismiss how much they care about these things that maybe aren't that important. But at the end of the day, like, no matter who Andy ends up with, she's not going to end up with that person.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that's a really important part of the movie. So did you like this one?
Not really.
Not at all?
Yeah, I wouldn't say not at all. I didn't dislike the movie. I'm very like take it or leave it.
Okay.
I think that watching it now, 30 years later, it feels very cliched.
Well, like, part of that is those cliches came from this movie.
And that's where it's like, at the time, did everything feel recycled, or is it that this got recycled into everything I've seen since?
I think this probably got recycled, because I'm trying to think of films before this that felt like this movie does, and I can't think of any.
Because I mean, this does there's like She's All That,
Yeah.
There's
these movies all got recycled.
My wife is watching Dawson's Creek right now. Like, that's like our dumb, like, something just needs to be on the screen while we screw around on our phones show right now.
Okay.
And like the day after we watched Pretty in Pink, there was an episode that was basically Pretty in Pink.
It was just basically that story.
And so,
I mean, it's a pretty archetypal tale.
Yes, of kind of different classes intermingling, the conflict that comes from it, all of that. I mean, it's goes back to Shakespeare, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, you can go to classic literature in the 19th century and find similar stories. And this is just taking it and mapping it onto a middle class Illinois high school and putting the smoke show James Spader in it. And honestly, I didn't even get into it, but like, man, I also have such a crush on Annie Potts. I think we talked a little bit about this
so in our
in our
Ghostbusters episode, we talked about how much we love Annie Potts.
Because she gets cast as like the nerdy, unattractive, like secretary, but she's Annie Potts.
Yeah, and they try to ugly her up in this too.
And
it's just like, no, she's alternative hot.
Yeah, no, she's the girl at the record store hot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I didn't hate the movie, but I definitely don't love the movie. I think that some of the things that were inspired by the movie sort of do it better. Yeah, so the movie has a place in the culture. It's one of the kind of Brat Pack movies, and so as a piece of that collection, like I'm glad I saw the movie. And you know, the soundtrack was the bigger hit than the movie itself, and I agree with that. I like the soundtrack a lot.
Great soundtrack, it really is.
You know, when those songs play in the movie, and the songs are used really well in the movie, you know, I picked up that vibe and enjoyed that vibe for sure.
Well, let's pivot to Hannah and her sisters.
Yeah.
All right. Hannah is too independent and strong. Holly is too anxious and self-conscious. Lee is lost and indecisive. If you're interested in the inner workings of the lives of the bourgeoisie, semi-intellectual, overly analyzed New Yorkers of the mid-'80s, enter Hannah and her sisters.
Yeah.
So the movie opens with Michael Caine observing Lee, one of the sisters, and saying to himself, my God, she's beautiful. And that's sort of the initial conflict that kicks off the movie, because you immediately learn that his character, Elliot, is actually married to Hannah, but he's completely enamored of Lee. Having said that, though, it ends up not even being the true central conflict of the movie. In fact, the movie is more like a series of vignettes about Hannah, her sisters, and the various people that exist within their domestic sphere. It's a very domestic film, in fact. There are some really funny moments in it, and it is a very revered movie, as we talked about earlier. I think that the movie does a good job of wrestling with existential dread while not losing its sense of humor about it. But I also think that it has some problems that I kind of want to explore and figure out how this movie became as big of a hit and as big of a cultural touchstone as it was, and really talk about, like, does it still last? Or is this one of those Oscar winners that sort of seemed important in the moment and then faded just as quickly?
Yeah, I didn't like this movie.
You didn't care for it?
I didn't care for this movie at all.
No, no part of it at all?
I mean, there are a couple things that are funny, but mostly I found it annoying. Part of it is these are my least favorite people. These like New York, there's a certain brand of like liberal that I just find like really annoying. They're like quasi intellectual. Like they think they're smarter than they are. They're very self-important. I don't know. Like I just the whole time I'm like, dude, just like get your shit together. Get your shit together. You're annoying. You have no reason for me to feel bad for you.
Well, do you think that Woody Allen made this movie so that you would feel bad for these characters?
I don't know. I mean, if he made this movie to criticize these characters, then okay, it worked because I'm critical of these characters, but I don't know that exists on the screen. I don't know that the movie unfolds in a way that is critical of these characters. I think the movie,
I mean, it opens with Elliot lusting after his wife's sister. I don't think that it's holding these characters up as, I don't know, as idols or people that you want to necessarily emulate. They're clearly kind of like petty, strange people that have almost invented problems. I mean, I say almost,
they're entirely invented problems.
They're problems that they've created for themselves exclusively because everyone has enough wealth. I mean, the only one who doesn't have enough, but she has access to it, is Holly, Diane Weist's character. But pretty much everybody else is fine in one way or another. Although you could also argue that Lee, because it starts off with she's unemployed and she's beginning to dip into her savings now or run out of it, and she's trying to figure out what to do next. And so she is a bit lost. But for the most part, the characters make their own problems for themselves. And so I don't think the characters are meant to necessarily be liked. Like, that's not what I walked away with anyway. Something I thought was interesting, though. So speaking of whether this movie was as big and important as it needed, as it needed to be, as people say that it was, Woody Allen famously said that Blue Velvet this year was the best movie.
Mm-hmm.
And David Lynch thanked Woody when he got his nomination for Best Director. So he even felt that that was a better film than Hannah and Her Sisters, which, I mean, hard to disagree with that statement.
I mean, I love David Lynch. He's brilliant in just about every way. And he makes movies with characters that you don't like.
I mean, he makes characters.
Blue Velvet being a good example of everyone in that sucks.
Yeah. But I think everyone in Hannah and Her Sisters sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah is the one who doesn't suck.
But everybody harbors some kind of negative sentiment towards Hannah, which is a really interesting dynamic. And that's part of the things that I start to like about the movie. I think the movie as a series of vignettes, as individual scenes, I think there's some really wonderful scenes. I think maybe what you were feeling, at least what I felt when I watched the movie, is that it's hard not to compare any movie he makes to Annie Hall, especially post Annie Hall. Anything pre Annie Hall are sort of the slapstick, wacky comedies. Everything post Annie Hall are sort of the self-serious, a bit of drama, a bit of comedy, a lot of existential dread, all involved. Usually a lot of domestic strangeness, whether it's dating someone that's too young or dating someone that you shouldn't be dating. These are all themes that he explores a lot.
All these sisters who are getting with and marrying each other's partners.
Yeah. But what happens in these movies, I think post Annie Hall, is a lot of them, while they work as individual scenes, they lack a sort of momentum or a drive that pushes you through the movie. There may be a scene that I really like between Barbara Hershey and Michael Caine out on the street when they're in front of the bookstore and they go into there and his sort of like nerves and he wants to buy her this poetry book. And I enjoy that scene, but the way it fits into the overall narrative, it's really hard to see what happens next because you almost don't care.
And in this
because
one,
the characters are so craven.
Everyone ends up where they started. I mean, Lee basically leaves one older, self-important academic for another. Michael Caine's character stays with Hannah.
He returns to Hannah. Hard to know whether it's out of guilt or out of love.
Yeah, Holly still kind of aimless. She ends up married.
No, Holly's the one who moves forward.
Does she though?
Absolutely. She's a published playwright now. She's married to Woody Allen's character. They're going to have a child. She has found her footing in life.
Is married to Woody Allen moving
well,
forward?
She's married to Mickey. Let's be clear. She's not married to Woody Allen. She's married to Mickey. And Mickey is in a good place too. Those two, I actually think, move forward. I think everyone else is very stuck, and I agree with that. But no, I'm excited for Holly's character and where she goes. I really love that character, actually. If you watch that movie and you just follow Holly, it actually becomes a more enjoyable movie, at least for me.
I wanted more for her.
You wanted more for her than to be a published playwright?
Yeah.
And to have a family?
I mean, the published playwright part is cool. The having a family part, like, I don't think trying to raise a kid with Mickey is a really upgraded life.
No, but it's a life. It's a life that has forward momentum because she's very stuck. I think that's the thing. Is like you see her, she's borrowing money from Hannah. Every time she talks to her, it's always a new venture. She's relying on friends like April, played by Carrie Fisher. Wonderful little role in there. And
I love Carrie Fisher.
I do too. And that friend betrays her. But it's like, it's one of those betrayals that's not a betrayal. It's a betrayal that happens among friends. And Holly's character just doesn't seem to have a way to either take care of herself or figure out what she's going to do with her life. And I think at the end she does.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so if you want more for her, what would you like to have seen for Holly?
So I guess,
because I think of any character, she deserves the most.
Yeah, she deserves the most. I think the published playwright part is cool. I think I was annoyed that she ended up with Mickey.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Is I think like
Mickey's like the only character I like in the movie apart from
really.
Oh my god, I think
sucks.
Oh my god, I love him. He has by far my favorite scene in the entire movie.
I'll tell you, one day about a month ago, I really hit bottom. You know, I just felt that in a godless universe, I didn't want to go on living. Now, I happen to own this rifle, which I loaded, believe it or not, and pressed it to my forehead. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm going to kill myself. Then I thought, what if I'm wrong? What if there is a God? I mean, after all, nobody really knows that. But then I thought, no, maybe is not good enough. I want certainty or nothing. And I remember very clearly the clock was ticking, and I was sitting there, frozen, with the gun to my head, debating whether to shoot. All of a sudden, the gun went off. I had been so tense, my finger had squeezed the trigger inadvertently. But I was perspiring so much, the gun had slid off my forehead and missed me. And suddenly, neighbors were pounding on the door, and I don't know, the whole scene was just pandemonium. And, you know, and I ran to the door. I didn't know what to say. You know, I was embarrassed and confused, and my mind was...
So this is Mickey telling Holly how he attempted to commit suicide, but ultimately how he came out of this really deep, dark depression that is basically part of this existential dread. He believes he has a brain tumor. He goes through a bunch of testing. He's convinced he's going to die of it, ultimately learns that he's not going to, and then goes on this bizarre search for meaning in life in which he leaves his job as a television producer, attempts to convert to Catholicism, which I really want to dive into that because I also think some of those scenes are really funny, especially when he goes to the Christian bookstore and just basically buys Christianity. And then you have that holographic Jesus that's winking at him as he goes back and forth. I remember stores like this, and like they didn't seem weird to me at the time, but they're so bizarre. And he finally finds his way out of it. And I think what I love so much about his finding his way out of it is two moments in here. A, he's so tense that he pulls the trigger. So he accidentally is going to commit suicide, basically. Like he doesn't have the intention to do it. So this is like an unintentional manslaughter moment against himself. But he's so nervous that he's perspiring and the rifle barrel slips off his forehead. So this combination of anxiety and nervousness causes him to fail at committing suicide, but also fail at not committing suicide. It is such a great just conundrum that exists in the center of this. And then what saves his life? Do you remember he walks down, he goes to a theater, and I didn't include the entire clip, and he sees the Marx Brothers in Duck Soup.
Yeah.
And that's when he realizes that if people can be funny, there can be this kind of silliness in the world, that this is a life we're living. I struggle with existential dread on a regular basis. I have depression. I saw that and I thought, man, maybe Duck Soup is all I need too. I don't know. Like the Marx, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. Absolute favorite. Like the fact that is the movie that saves his life told me that there is something in this movie that is for me.
Yeah. I wish I was watching Duck Soup instead of Hannah and Her Sisters.
I wish I was watching Duck Soup more than anything. That's not a fair comparison.
No, I actually agree.
I mean, The Wizard of Oz is in Twister. I'd rather be watching that.
I do agree that the parts of the movie that made me laugh, the only funny parts really for me, not the only, but the memorable parts that were actually funny are the parts where he's like trying to convert to
First
Catholicism
and then
Hare Krishna.
And they're not really that interested in him. I like that they don't reject him, but they're sort of like, maybe you should think about it.
Yeah. They're like, well, you can go read this book, I guess.
Yeah. And they have the chain link fence set in front of them because they didn't come to him. He went to them. Like that scene is really framed
because they
really well.
famously approach people.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That's
But
like
not
their
Mickey.
whole thing.
Not Mickey.
He didn't get handed a flower in the airport. Yeah. So I guess for me, it comes down to not having too much sympathy for his existential dread to begin with.
Oh, see, I have tons of sympathy for that kind of existential dread.
I don't know, like I resent him for being a shitty father.
A shitty father to his partner's kids and the adopted children.
Yeah. And like
it's such a weird situation.
It's
I have difficulty judging somebody for being in that kind of situation.
I guess. I think like where I kind of threw the character away, this is like so specific and probably me more than the movie, is he talks about like, oh, I have to go see my ex-wife today. And then you find out the reason he has to see his ex-wife is because it's his kid's birthday.
I mean, like, he is a self-involved and selfish person. I guess the reason Mickey and Holly stand out for me among all of them, and you said it yourself, is that so many of the characters are sort of craven and not really going anywhere. And even Hannah, like Hannah is very, even though she is admirable, she's stationary, right? She's very much like, I want to be a mother. Yes, I made this play, but the domestic life is what's important to me. I'm going to take care of my awful parents. And there's some behind the scenes stuff I actually want to get into there because all of Hannah's life and Mia Farrow involved in this film is actually kind of wild. But everybody else they're on stationary bicycles. Mickey is seeking. Mickey is looking for something. He knows that his life is not what it should be, and his reaction to this potential brain tumor is what drives this seeking, but he winds up seeking and moving forward. Holly's always seeking. She's always trying to figure out, what is my talent? What is my place in this world? She does so much of it, and she has people around her that are sort of tearing her down. And Mickey's one of the first people that builds her up. And I think that that's actually really important too. I'm actually going to do another scene. I usually don't do two, but there's a great scene between Mia Farrow and Diane Wiest in which they're shopping, and you hear this just passive aggression that Holly has to deal with so much from Hannah.
No, I didn't know you sang.
Why, you think everybody in musicals sings so well?
No, just that they sing.
Well, you know, I sing a little, I mean, you know.
I know, I know.
I mean, you know, don't say it that way, you know, because my confidence is not
No,
my
I'm
strong
sorry.
point.
No, I didn't mean that. No, I didn't mean that.
You know, I think I can fake my way through a song. Easily. Why, you don't think it's realistic?
No, I didn't. I just hate to see you put yourself in a position where you get hurt. You know how you take every single rejection as a confirmation that you have no talent or something?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll get it.
I hope.
Boy, you really know how to cut me down.
What? No, don't be so sensitive. Can't I say anything?
Well, I sing, for Christ's sake,
Okay.
Hannah. You heard me sing.
And this is where, I mean, we're sitting here singing Hannah's praises, but the reality is she actually is holding Holly back. And this isn't the first type of interaction she has with her like that. And so seeing her break free of Hannah's sort of passive aggressive, just, she doesn't have to build her up. She's not her mother, right? But she doesn't have to tear her down like that either. Like, you can hear it in the voice. And it's such a great performance by both of them because you can feel this tension between two sisters in which she just wants Hannah's approval. She wants Hannah to just say, hey, you got this. And instead, Hannah kind of undermines her and is like, is this practical? Are you sure? Does those kinds of things that takes away from her momentum.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I have a little bit of sympathy for Hannah in that.
Wow. That's rough, man.
Because she's bankrolling the whole adventure.
But she doesn't have to. She's choosing to bankroll. That doesn't give her the right to tear her down.
Yeah.
She can say, hey, I'm not going to bankroll you anymore, but I support you.
I guess I have a little more respect for Hannah. You know, she has this life of domesticity. She's a mom. She has this like itch to like see if she still got it in her career. She goes, she does the play.
And she still
scratches
got it.
the itch. She still got it. And then realized like, yeah, but actually what I already have at home is what's important to me. That's what fulfills me. And I'm going to settle into that. And I think because I was so annoyed by these characters, kind of thinking they're smarter than they are, more important than they are, her sort of being okay with, you know, maybe being important isn't what matters. It's finding the things that fulfill me that matters. Like I have more sympathy for that outlook on life than I do.
But then when Holly is going to become a mother, you're saying that's not enough for her though. So which one is it though?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I harbor resentment towards Mickey, and it is clouding that.
I can tell.
Like, I also like, and this is a dumb little like nitpick, but like I was confused by the whole Mickey couldn't have kids with Hannah. They had to adopt kids or find a donor or whatever. And then Holly ends up pregnant. Like, I don't know.
It's a miracle,
where that
man.
comes from.
Whatever. You're the Catholic here. You believe in the virgin birth.
I go to an evangelical mega church now.
Oh my goodness. Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We'll get into that on another episode. I don't think we have time for that today. I've got questions. Well, at any rate, let's get into some of the production stuff. So the movie won several awards. Diane Wiest won for Best Supporting Actress. Michael Caine won for Best Supporting Actor. It was nominated for Director. It was nominated for Screenplay. It was nominated for Picture. It's one of his most awarded movies that he ever made. It's really cool to see these performances actually get awarded. Michael Caine famously did not attend the Oscars to receive it because he was shooting Jaws: The Revenge, which he famously said, I've never seen the movie, but I did see the house it bought, and it's quite beautiful.
That's actually one of my like favorite celebrity quotes. I love that so much because he's like, I don't know about the movie, but I know about the beach house. And that's that's that lack of pretension that I
I love Michael.
enjoy.
I love Michael Caine so much. The movie's entire production was described as controlled pandemonium. Only about 20% of the original script actually wound up on the screen. There were tons of reshoots, which is really common for Woody Allen.
Yeah,
He
that
frequently
seems typical.
Well, he'll really try to find the scene with the actors and let them play it out and improvise and find their characters. And so much of it is character driven, which I think is where we're getting some of that feeling, or at least I did, of not having a momentum to it necessarily, where it just sort of felt like this character driven piece where I can enjoy in pieces. And that is sort of how I enjoyed it, is in pieces.
Well, because you mentioned that like as you were doing like some work, you sort of rewatched it. You had it on.
Yeah, as I was building out the studio and doing some things, I put it on.
When that's happening, you're absorbing those little vignettes, but not sitting down and trying to watch it in an arc that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And so it's actually not surprising to me that you grew to enjoy it more through that experience than I did sitting down to like watch it as this like deliberate effort to watch a movie.
And just to be clear, I enjoyed it piecemeal. I still don't think it's like one of my favorite movies, and I don't know that it deserved as much recognition as it got. I think Michael
I'll give
Caine
the performances their due, right?
Absolutely.
I don't have to like the characters you're playing to acknowledge that you did a good job playing those characters.
No, absolutely transformative. I really loved Michael Caine and Diane Weist's performances. In fact, I think it's full of great performances. Even John Turturro's very little cameo where he yells, oh my God, it's so funny, about them changing his sketch. He's so angry. Changing his PLO sketch, which is a comedy sketch about the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and he's furious about it. And I just love that it's all about a comedy sketch. Like the irony of that scene is superb.
I think the funniest part is they're like, well, if the censors don't like the PLO sketch, we'll just go back to the child molestation sketch. Like, what?
But you name names. What, the Pope? Which looking back on that too, hey, Catholic Church.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of the film was shot in Mia Farrow's apartment. All of those scenes are actually her home. And so they had set up cameras. There were 40 crew members at times that were like in her apartment trying to do all of these shoots, which is like unheard of and would never happen in today's filmmaking environment for a lot of reasons. And so it really kind of ripped her life apart at that time. And then her mother is played by her mother, which is also a really strange situation, particularly because they had a strange relationship and then they have a strange relationship in the movie, which made it very awkward for Mia Farrow as well. And she talked a little bit about it in some interviews. There's also a really weird thing, and I love using AI for research and then having to like back up and go, wait a minute. So Sam Waterston is in the movie. He plays the architect that takes Carrie Fisher and Diane Weist out on a date. April and Holly, those are the character names. And he takes him on a tour, but he's not credited in the movie. And he actually has quite a few lines, which is interesting because Julia Louis-Dreyfus has like one line. John Turturro has like 2 lines. They're both credited. Sam Waterston's not. And I was trying to figure out what happened, and I found this whole thing and this whole blog on how he sued Woody Allen in 2008. And like, there's this whole lawsuit about him not getting credit and this and the other. If you find that out there as well, discredit it. That did not happen. He's not angry about it at all. He's fine. Nobody sued anybody. So do with that what you will. And then obviously there's the really weird Sun-Yi connection in that she is in fact in the movie. You brought it up earlier. And then the other really interesting thing is that the initial scene between Barbara Hershey and Michael Caine where they pair up in the hotel was much more explicit in the original cut. It was a very explicit sex scene that they were both pretty uncomfortable shooting, and they kind of expressed it to Woody Allen, and he was like, well, we want to do this. But in the final cut, Woody ultimately decided that it wasn't the right tone and cut it, and they were sort of grateful. And so the movie wound up being, I think, probably better for it. I'm not sure that would have fit in well with the overall tone of the movie. That relationship in it honestly doesn't work for me at all anyway. No. And so I don't know that would have been great. But yeah, that effectively is Hannah and Her Sisters. So I think before we go to our break, I'd like to rate the movies. I've created a little rating system. Did I send it to you?
No.
Oh, so we have a rating system now.
We have a rating system.
We have a rating system. So there is don't watch. Wait for it to be on streaming, rent it, buy it, 4K Steelbook it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That is our rating system. So I want to know, for Pretty in Pink, on that rating system, on that scale, what do you think?
Stream it.
Stream it?
Yeah.
So wait to stream?
Yeah, if you can watch it for free, streaming somewhere, it's not a waste of time. And again, because it exists in our culture as much as it does, if you are someone who likes movies, who likes absorbing pop culture, it feels like it should be part of the diet.
I think I'm there with you on Pretty in Pink. I think it's a stream it. It's not a skip it, but I don't know that I would spend money to watch it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But not any more or less than some other high school movies that I also could have watched.
Yeah.
And Hannah and Her Sisters. What do you think on the rating?
I kind of exact same answer.
You're going to stream that one?
Yeah, I would stream that one for the same reasons. I think that it is a movie that has a place in film history. And so if you're a cinephile with an actual movie diet, it's something that you should consume.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't invest anything more than my 2 hours in it.
I'm turning away from the mic here. I think this is a rent for me.
Okay.
Even though I didn't super love it, it is one of the few movies we have that is in our 1,000 movies that one must see. And I think there are reasons enough to go back. And again, if you're a movie person, we keep saying cinephile. It feels like such a yucky.
I know. I yelled at these characters for being pretentious and
I
then
know.
used the word
And
cinephile.
we used it so much. I feel like I need to get it out of my vocabulary. But if you really like watching movies and you care about film history and sort of building out your knowledge, I think this film's worth renting if it's not available.
Yeah,
for
like as an
streaming.
education.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that because there's some very interesting things. It's beautifully photographed. There's some phenomenal performances in it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Woody Allen's a good director,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
And so that shows in this as well.
All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to break and we're going to come back and we're going to wrap up the weekend with the headliner. We're going to talk a little bit about Top Gun. We're going to talk broadly about this weekend. And then we're going to set up for next episode and tell you what movies to watch.
Excellent.
We'll be back shortly with more of the Screen Hoppers.
Welcome back to the Screen Hoppers. We just discussed Hannah, Her Sisters, Andy, Duckie, and Blane. And we're moving on to our headliner, Top Gun, which is also a sort of weird love triangle of its own.
Are you talking about the male love triangle?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was
exactly.
like,
That's exactly
Meg
love
Ryan
triangle.
and Tom Cruise. Did you know that they sent Navy recruiters to movie theaters when this came out?
No, but that makes sense. Like,
It drove recruitment through the roof. Apparently, Tom Cruise felt a lot of guilt about it later because he was not specifically trying to recruit for the military.
That's funny because I feel like that's what the movie does best is makes the Air Force look cool or the Navy look cool.
It's a big, long recruitment video. I don't know that it's a movie.
Right. It really isn't. I think
It's kind of a music video, maybe.
This is a movie that I've, quote, seen a million times. But like other movies we've discussed, when we watch for the pod, I watch it a little more intently than maybe I otherwise would watch movies like this.
Like it gets your undivided attention.
Yeah.
So you're not doing dishes while it's on.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is not a lot of movie here. It's a bunch of cool airplane stuff, and airplanes are cool.
Oh, the shots are incredible.
Yeah,
The
it
airplane stuff
looks
is great.
The effects and the sound is really incredible. The
lighting and the shots are fantastic. Like they're these incredible shots of the sky and the color. Yeah.
But there's almost no plot, and the stakes are non-existent until they decide to throw some in at the last minute.
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
The whole movie is just a vibe. It is a really weird movie.
So the plot, as much as there is one, is you have Tom Cruise's character, Maverick, which I also kind of love that Maverick has become a legit first name nowadays.
I know.
Who is in Top Gun flight school. There's a competition to be the toppiest gun.
The most gunniest top.
Oh.
Is there a bottom gun also?
That would be a different movie. Maybe a more interesting one. Talking about love triangles.
I mean, isn't Goose just the bottom gun? Maverick's Top Gun? I feel like that's what's going on there, right?
There's flips and inversions.
There are.
And they're basically just competing to win this contest to be like the coolest pilot.
Yeah.
That's the movie.
If you haven't seen this movie, I don't know where you've been. Like it got a legacy sequel. This was the big headliner.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of the top grossing movies of all time. I was really surprised at how little movie there was when I really sat down and gave it my attention as well. I expected, it's like you sort of remember the beats of like Goose dying and, you know, the conflict with Iceman and the relationship he has and
the volleyball.
And you get back into it and you're like, I remember those beats because those are in fact
That's
that's
everything.
the movie.
Yeah.
Everything else is just them flying around. Although there is this really like strange thing the movie does. I was watching it because Pete Mitchell, Maverick, he's not a good guy. Like,
Not really.
Not really. He's kind of an asshole.
He's just
like,
a frat bro
he's not,
douchebag.
he's not really like, I don't think he's responsible for Goose's death. In fact, I think Iceman might be responsible for Goose's death, if we're being honest. And there are theories out there. I found people who support me on this. Probably Iceman. He creates the Jetwash. He knew they were there.
Yeah.
But
and there's precedent for what Jetwashes do.
But then there's also like the systemic thing that kills him. I will get into that in just a moment, but you know the save the cat. I think we've talked about it before, right? Like you need your main character to do something nice at the beginning because they're going to be a prick for the rest of the movie. And so you have to have some reason to like them when they do shitty things, which maybe that's what Hannah and her sisters did wrong. Is Elliot starts off with, he doesn't save the cat.
He
starts off
from
with,
the get-go.
I'm going to sleep with my wife's younger sister.
And I really, really want to.
And he never saves the cat. But Maverick, they're up there. They're fighting the Red Star Brigade.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know who those people are.
1986. So they gotta be red.
Got to be a red star. I don't know what country that is. I don't know who we're fighting, but apparently they're fighting them. I love that the movie has no villain.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's a villain. It always feels. But they're up there doing it. One of the pilots, the top pilot in their little crew, has a total freak out. And Maverick risks his and Goose's life to go up there and save him by flying alongside him. I am trying so hard to empathize with these characters and put myself in the shoes of somebody in a jet who is having like some kind of like nervous attack or panic attack is likely what he's experiencing. I don't know. I didn't go into the psychology of it. And to have somebody fly alongside me, would that make me feel better or worse? Like, is that going to help me and how I'm feeling right now? I have a co-pilot with me that I can hang with, and he's talking him through it. But they put Pete Mitchell in this place where he is risking his own life to do this to convince all of us that he's a good dude.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced. He just seems like a reckless dude, which I already do that.
Yeah, I mean, reckless is sort of his primary trait, right? I mean, that's what drives everything, right? Is like he wants to be cool and he does stupid things to seem cool, and everyone gets mad at him for that and doesn't appreciate his coolness.
Imagine this movie with anybody else in the role of Maverick. Would you like Maverick?
Probably not.
No, like we only like him because he's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise has that amount of power that you like him. Like this is another case too. I was thinking of Twister when we were watching it, how Cary Elwes is set up as the bad guy because he's competent and communicates and plans, and therefore he's bad. And like Iceman is sort of the bad guy, although the movie doesn't go as hard into it. But it's because he's competent and knows how to fly.
He's
and does
good at
things.
his job and is kind of a dick when other people aren't.
Yeah, except, like I said, I do think he might be the reason for Goose's death. Like in that flight scene, you have him pulling up, creating a jet wash, which shuts down one of the engines. And it's like, and then they just determine it's nobody's fault, but they don't even consider the fact that it might be Iceman's fault, which is weird in the movie too. They only look at Maverick and then they make sure that he's washed clean.
Yeah.
Because we can't like him if he's the reason that Goose died. The movie is almost mechanical in how it handles that death.
Yeah, and I think that's a problem with the movie, right? Is that the biggest thing that happens, the thing that matters the most is the death, but then because they're protecting the protagonist, we kind of have to move on from it.
And they overprotect the protagonist that we have to move on. Like it makes us all sad, but was it his fault? Or is it just the fact that maybe you shouldn't have a competitive school like this that causes people to go after points?
My thing is like
it's a
the
systemic
person
problem.
Whose fault it is that this isn't even a training exercise. This isn't for them to get more battle ready. It's literally we're going to do all of this really, really dangerous stuff that can and does result in death for a trophy.
Well, we're going to set up a situation in which you should be working together and collaborating to defeat the enemy, but we're going to make it competitive.
Yeah.
And by making it competitive, we're going to cause you to want to win because these are all very type A individuals. Like
Right.
there couldn't be anyone more type A than a freaking jet pilot for
Yeah.
the Navy. And they
And
want to
yeah,
beat each other. And so they're going to fly too close to each other. They're going to do all of these things. And then when they land, what happens? They get their wrists slapped at worst. Maybe they get a real tongue lashing.
Oh, I'm very disappointed.
Like the reason Maverick breaks the rules every time is because there are no repercussions when he breaks the
Yeah,
rules.
and that's like, this movie is beloved. Like it really is. I mean, people love this
That's
movie.
because it's a vibe.
And it's a vibe, right?
People love the vibe.
The reason people love the vibe is because fighter pilots are inherently cool,
Fuck yeah, they are.
right? And that's
One of
it.
my greatest regrets is never flying a jet and when I was young enough to do it.
Yeah, no,
Wish I had found a way to do it.
I agree. That's it. Like the movie's a vibe. It's a bunch of cool guys doing cool shit with cool planes, being cool. And if you watch it again, like as a series of vignettes and pick up the vibe, like, yeah, there's things to enjoy.
Totally good.
Doesn't
time.
really work as a movie.
No.
Maverick does. The sequel
Oh, 100%.
is
Maverick's
a
great.
much better movie.
It's a really good movie. Actually,
Yeah.
I sincerely enjoy Maverick as a movie.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. You know, we've talked before about movies that sort of miss the mark, and it's like, oh, but like there's enough here where like a remake would actually probably work if they
Mhm.
cleaned up some of these things. They did that with Top Gun,
Yeah.
and it made what I would consider like kind of an excellent movie.
And a technical marvel, too.
Yeah.
All right. So what does this all mean this weekend? We have this really big, like, vibe check movie about jets and Danger Zone. And just, I mean, the whole thing is just a soundtrack, right?
Yeah.
That is overshadowing these two smaller, like borderline independent movies that just have insane legs. Like, what does this say about 1986 in May? Like, what's going on with us
I don't
in the theaters?
I mean, two of the movies at least, Pretty in Pink and Top Gun, really show that like I think audiences were looking for a vibe, right? Like,
yeah, I agree.
That
Well, I mean, Hannah and Her Sisters was kind of a vibe.
yeah, I didn't love the vibe, but it was just a vibe.
But all three movies are pretty light on plot.
Yeah, they're light on plot. There's some like messy human interaction. There are individual scenes that work really well but don't come together as an arc.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that says about us, but it is interesting that, you know, we pick these movies sort of at random, not at random, but you know, not because we're looking for a theme, though next week when we get there,
Oh, I can't wait.
We'll you know, disprove that. So for them to all have that in common is kind of fascinating. But I don't know
mean,
that I have a hard theory on why that is.
There's kind of an underdog vibe to a certain extent in all three. Less so in Hannah, but like Maverick is the biggest underdog ever, right? I mean, he's the Rocky of fighter pilots. He doesn't win in the end. He actually doesn't take Top Gun. His father has this really messy background that's connected to Vietnam, and obviously the movie's trying to divorce what's happening now from the mess of Vietnam. And almost, I mean, this is where it feels like a recruitment movie, where it's like, we're not Vietnam anymore. We're these really cool fighter pilots. But he is still kind of coming from like the lower level and trying to work his way up. Duckie and Andy, the exact same situation. They're in a school full of rich kids, full of very like living in like this Reaganomics era of like upward mobility. Can they move up? Can they overcome? And then in Hannah and Her Sisters, I mean, Mickey and Holly, the two characters I think that really are actually central to it, at least for me, even though it's called Hannah and Her Sisters. They have a lot of sort of like underdog loser vibes.
Yeah.
Where like you don't think they should be successful, but they find a way to navigate. And maybe that's just what people were looking for,
Maybe
whether it's
that
New York
is
intellectual or
that it is this like sort of Cold War coming out of Vietnam, you know, America, we're not losers anymore. If we were losers, we're coming out of it. We're getting strong again.
Yeah, we may seem like we were losers, but we're actually stronger than you realize. We
Yeah.
can do more than you thought we could.
It is fascinating that they have that in common despite being very, 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 very different movies.
Yeah. All right. Favorite movie from this weekend?
I didn't love any of them.
Yeah, I didn't love any of them either.
Probably Top Gun, even though our
I'm
conversation
not
makes
surprised.
makes it seem like I'm the most critical of that one.
Yeah, but you love a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
You leave more space for a popcorn movie to be bad than an art film to be bad.
Yeah, I do. And I think that, you know, if grading them on their own terms, Top Gun is the most successful at being what it's trying to be.
I mean, What was it trying? I mean, if it's trying to be a recruitment video, yes, it is quite successful. If it's trying to be a music video, then I think Pretty in Pink is doing a better job.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink, it's between those two.
Yeah.
You know, because I kind of actively disliked Hannah and her sisters.
I know.
But I think, you know, rewatchability, I don't think any of them really have it.
I think Pretty in Pink's pretty rewatchable.
Pretty in Pink, yeah, maybe it's Pretty in Pink.
It's a good time.
It is funny though, because all of these movies do have their like very solid place in pop culture. Like you should see all of them. But yeah, they're all kind of just a collection of scenes that don't come together as movies.
Well, that was a non-answer.
I know.
It's a
bad answer.
I'm gonna go Pretty in Pink was my favorite of this weekend.
Yeah, that's super defensible.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna argue.
Like,
that
I think
yeah.
you picked the movie that I ended up in, like, that I would probably come back to and do a rewatch because it is definitely a movie I could play in the background.
I will say, Duckie is the most fun character in all three movies.
Ooh, are you going MVP John Cryer?
I am.
Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I was about to say.
We can jump right into that. So I would say, yeah, if we're going MVPs,
you're going MVP.
I would go John Cryer.
Okay.
I think he stands out the most in the movie. I think he does the most interesting things. He actually does have depth. We can and do disagree with his motives and his outlook and think that he's toxic.
I think that he is a really interesting character. I think he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, but
he's also a 16-year-old kid, and so every 16-year-old kid that's a piece of shit.
I think he's relatable in a way. And I disagree with the people who made the movie who think that casting John Cryer as Duckie was a mistake. I think John Cryer was exactly what Duckie should be.
I mean, I love John Cryer in it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Diane Wiest for my MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I love her as Holly. As much as I don't love that movie, the scenes with her are the best scenes. Mm-hmm. She just plays anxious and nervous and self-conscious, but believing in herself. I don't know. There is just a depth to her performance that is really, really beautiful.
She is really
and the character feels so lived in, just so incredibly lived in. Like you feel her feeling lesser than everyone that she's around all the time. You feel her self-consciousness, and I think she does an incredible job of communicating that on screen. Diane Wiest, I didn't even know she had an Oscar. I was so glad to see her in this because I've always liked her. But yeah, that's for sure my MVP. All right, we will post a poll to Instagram still, so you can still vote on who picked the better movie. But obviously, I'm picking your movie, and you're picking your movie as far as the movie to watch. And then you can let us know who you think picked the better movie. Was it America? Was it Michael? Was it Ian? I mean, maybe it was America. Top Gun's. It's a good time.
I think like, which movie did I like the most? It's like, well, if I'm going to just pick some scenes that I like, again,
Top Gun.
Airplanes are really cool.
Airplanes are super cool. All right. Let's talk about next weekend.
Next weekend,
you chose where we're going
for next weekend.
Yeah, so you picked our weekend. Where are we going?
I did. So we are going to 2012.
Yeah.
And we are going to watch the headliner, The Hunger Games.
Ooh, this is like Lionsgate's only movie on the top 100.
Yeah, and it's the one that made Lionsgate go from a like independent studio to kind of a mini major.
Yeah, it's done this like it's like hovering on the line. It hasn't quite tipped, but like
they
this
ended
was
up like acquiring smaller studios, using the money from the Hunger Games.
They really hit something with the Hunger Games. I mean, the cast in it's incredible.
It is.
So that's our big headliner, but we're gonna do some theater hopping as always. What screen are we hopping to for you? That's on the marquee.
I picked The Raid Redemption, which is
that a sequel to The Raid?
It's not.
Oh, is there a colon between that Raid and Redemption?
There is.
Perfect.
And when it screened in festivals, it was like one of those festival darling movies.
Yeah.
It was just called The Raid. I don't know why the studio tacked the little subtitle onto it when they released it. It's very confusing.
It's super good. It makes you feel like you missed something.
It makes you feel like you missed something. But I'm excited for it because I haven't seen it since 2012.
I've never seen it. It's been on my watch list for a minute. Actually, I think the sequels, because there is a sequel.
There is a sequel. It's just not this one.
Yeah, that has been on my watch list.
Yeah, it's. I think we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, and
what
I
did you
chose.
Pick?
Oh, so sticking with the theme, we're going all action. I chose Safe House because a safe house, watching Safe House is a safe house. Denzel Washington, We're going to see Ryan Reynolds again. We've seen him in R.I.P.D., in which we both agreed he sucked.
Yeah, that's the worst movie we've watched for this podcast.
I'm curious to see if he's any good at this, because this is not widely considered to be a very good movie, but I'll show up for Denzel in just about anything. Yeah. And it's got Brendan Gleeson in it too, which I'll kind of show for him in anything too.
Yeah, I'm here for Action Week.
Yeah, it is Action Week here on the Screen Hoppers next week. So if you want to watch along with us, of course, you can always catch these on your favorite streamer. Most of them are available either to stream or to rent. So go ahead, check them out, and then tune in 2 weeks for our next episode. Michael, take us out.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us on the Screen Hoppers. Thank you for being here through season 1. We're really excited that we are now in a season 2. And yeah, Action Week next week. It's going to be a great time. We're going to bro out. And
you're going to wear a tank top?
I feel like I have to. No one wants that. No one wants that.
I mean, I don't, but
someone might.
Maybe somebody out there does.
In the meantime, stay in touch with us on social media at the Screen Hoppers. Vote in our poll. Let us know which of these movies that you liked the most. Let us know if we're being too harsh on these movies. Maybe the vibes are all we need.
Maybe the 80s were just about vibes and we overanalyzed them.
And of course, visit us at upleftmedia.com. Check out everything that we are doing. And, a little sneak peek. Familiarize yourself with Nailed It novels featuring Rosie Page, because, that might be useful context for the next episode.
Seeing how that Hunger Games, I think that was a book first, wasn't it? Or was this another novelization of a movie?
There are pages involved somewhere.
There are. Also, we didn't even discuss this, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but Tarantino had some things to say about the Hunger Games recently.
Did he?
Oh,
I'm going to have to do that research before.
I can't wait for you to see that. I thought that was why you picked it.
No, it wasn't, but Tarantino's thoughts are always worth hearing, but not always agreeable.
At any rate, you can find me on Instagram at Ian_upleft.
Michael_upleft for me. And thanks again for watching.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on The Screen Hoppers. The Screen Hoppers is an Upleft Media production, written by Ian Tarter and Michael Smith. Produced, sound engineered, and edited by Ian Tarter, with special thanks to Rosie Page.